Shall we?
Yeah.
So, welcome everybody to Grasping the Good. I'm Ivan. I'm a Wiccan priest, and with me is Tzvi.
I'm Tzvi. I'm a rabbi.
And
sometimes a Sufi.
Sometimes a Sufi, yeah.
And you're training me to be a Wiccan.
I trained you. Yeah, no, I'm not really training you, but I asked him what direction north is in his home, and he told me immediately without blinking. And I said, "We'll make a witch out of you yet, Tzvi." So we're really happy to be here. This is Tzvi's beautiful home, and this came about because the two of us were discussing like how we get at goodness and how do we know what we know, and how do we know what this good thing is, without trying to just sort of punt to religious dogma or something else that doesn't work. I want to give a talk about all of this so in a little bit, but I think the program is Zvi is going to do a guided meditation. It's Kabbalistic, and I'm going to do a little talk, or it might be a big talk, and then I'm going to lead a ritual.
Right, so let me start. Ivan, it's great to be working with you.
Yeah.
It's great to know you. And it's all Peter's fault, our Zoom master there in the back who introduced us. So what the approach I think that both Ivan and I are taking this afternoon is experiential, namely the way I understand the verb to know, lada'at in Hebrew, to know, is that it also means to experience. And there's some basis for this in Isaiah in the 50s chapters, somewhere between 55 and 60. There's actually more than that as a basis, because like oddly enough, as in many Romance languages, there are two verbs to know, and you have to be very careful how you use them, because the verb to know, both in Hebrew and Spanish, ladat in Hebrew and saber in Spanish, not only means to know knowledge, to know science, but it means to know carnally, to experience, right? To experience. That's true in Spanish, it's true in Hebrew. And you have to use another verb if you want to say, I know that person, ani makir. You have to use a totally different verb form. So it's about knowing the good, that is to say, experiencing the good. And really, the best way unless, the divine conks you on the head in some way and says, oh, here it is, this is the good, all right, now go off and tell everybody. That's prophecy, right? Unless you're lucky or unlucky enough to be a prophet, the approach is rituals, right? Rituals and practices. And so I want to share with you a practice that actually I learned from some Presbyterian chaplains and that I've modified somewhat. It borrows some ideas from the layer of Jewish mysticism, Merkava Echalot, palaces, chariot palaces mysticism. It's the mysticism underlying the prayers in our prayer book in the Siddur, and it's 1,000 years or more before Kabbalah, before what most of us think of as Jewish mysticism. So what I want us to do is to just be comfortable. You can close your eyes or not, and to begin doing the Tai Chi breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And it's best if we do it kind of slowly, right? And I need to talk, so my breathing pattern will be interrupted, but please keep breathing. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And what you'll notice, sort of organically, is that as you continue to do this pattern of breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth is that each breath will lengthen. The in-breath will lengthen until really there's no more room in your thorax, no more room in your lungs, and don't hurt yourself and just let it out. And I use the Café Filtre motion, the plunger on Café Filtre, and that little glass cylinder. When you plunge the filter down through the coffee water to pushing the grounds to the bottom, that's the out breath. That's the reminder of how to do the out breath, right? So you're getting more of your body involved even though you're sitting. You don't have to do it, but it's nice to do. And you can go bring your hands up as you breathe in, little pause there, and then breathe out. And each breath sort of automatically gets longer. The in-breath gets longer. The out-breath gets longer. It's kind of like chair yoga, except I don't know any yoga. And what can happen, and it's a good thing when it does happen, and it probably will happen, is for the out-breath to be just a little bit longer than the in-breath. In, and then, I guess the birds are breathing too. The out-breath gets a little longer than the in-breath, and both breaths lengthen. And this is well known physiologically to induce something called the relaxation response. And it just starts triggering all those good chemicals. I thought it was just dopamine, but it's other good stuff too. We can talk about that later. But all the good chemistry, the love chemistry, the calming chemistry, is induced by this particular breath pattern. And I have used it when I had to go in for legal depositions and I was scared out of my skin. And I just kept doing the Tai Chi breath over and over and over again. And in my case at least, my body was not able to entertain two emotions at the same time. Fear, anxiety on one hand, and a deep sense of well-being, a deep sense of well-being engendered by the mind and the body working together with the chemistry of the body to engender just a sense of being at peace, well-being. So from this place of well-being, I would even say self-acceptance, right? Self-love, centeredness, growing sense of groundedness. I'd like us to take a journey which is simultaneously into our individual hearts, but also, as it were, into our collective heart. And the heart in many traditions, certainly the one I was raised in, is understood to be a place of wisdom beyond the logical ratiocination, logic and mathematics and physics that the brain can do. A place of wisdom, chokhmat halev, lev, heart. Chokhmah is wisdom. In Arabic it would be hikmet, same word. A heart of wisdom, the heart of wisdom, the heart of experiencing the knowing. And in this case, it's a journey for all of us together into the knowing, the experiencing, the yidiyah, the experiencing and knowing of the good, of the tov, of the good. Keep breathing. Your breath is getting longer, both the in-breath and the out-breath, definitely the out-breath. And we enter together onto a pathway into, at first, our collective heart as human beings, as sentient beings. And we walk down the path together because collective practice is very powerful. Individual practice is good, but I have a predisposition towards collective practice, like what we're doing right now. And as we walk together, those of us in the room and those of us on Zoom, as we walk together down this path, deep, deep, deep into the collective heart of our being, of our capability of knowing, but really starting with just our being and our being together, we notice as we walk for a while down this path, deep, 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 into the lev, into the heart, that we come upon a place in the collective heart where there are doors on either side of the path, and each door has a doorknob, and above the doorknob is a half window, and the half window is made of crinkly glass. Crinkly glass. It's translucent, not transparent, so that we know that each room has a light lit in the room, but we can't see anything or anybody in the room. This is our individual chamber in the heart, because the spiritual heart, both collective and individual, has an infinite number of rooms. The phrase from early Jewish mysticism is chadrei chadarim, rooms of rooms, chambers upon chambers, chadrei chadarim, chadrei chadarim. And as we as a group get to this part of the path where there are doors with light in each room, each one of us knows which room, which cheder, which chamber is the right room that you or I need to walk into, because that's where we will find what we need to know about the particular, maybe small, but important aspect of the good that each of us is yearning to know, yearning to experience, ladat. And so each of us selects a room, a chamber, which is simultaneously in the collective heart and in our own hearts, a chamber in our spiritual heart. We open the door, each one of us, and each one of us walks into that chamber. It's comfortable. The ventilation is good. The light is at just the right level. And you will find chairs or zafus or whatever is comfortable for you to sit in, sit on. And you sit down, and when your head rises up, because the head rises up when you sit down, you sense a sacred presence. You sense a sacred presence that you can communicate with. And you can ask that holy presence, that sacred presence, nochachut. You can say, there's a problem that's bothering me and I want to know what's the right path. What is the good? I can't know all the good, but I can know a little piece of it for me. Please help me to know, to experience the good. What is the derech hatovah, the right path, the good path that I need to walk on right now. So I'll give us a few minutes in each of us, in the cheder, in this chamber of our own heart, spiritual chamber in our spiritual heart. And I'll bring us out with a little drumming, and then we'll walk back together and back into the physical room or back into the Zoom room. So we'll start now, and you can ask the spiritual presence, which might be in your very heart, not outside, but in your heart. What is the good that I must seek, that I must know, and perhaps, very much perhaps, bring into the world to do? So let me leave you in the room for a bit. Another 30 seconds. Ya la 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 la. So I want you to express gratitude to the holy, to the sacred presence in the room with you, maybe out in the room, maybe in your heart. I don't know where. Doesn't really matter. Express gratitude, say thank you, say toda. And get up from your seating arrangement and turn and face the door and open the door. Open the door and come out into the corridor of our collective hearts. And we stand there together. Together we turn and walk up the slight slope of the path going up and out of our collective heart until we all find ourselves in the place we started, either here in this lovely room in the house or in Zoom land. And we express gratitude and we thank each other for the journey that we've been on together. And let's do 4 breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. It's good to oxygenate. 3rd breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Finally, 4th breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Holy brother, do we have a little time for dialogue about the experience? Or?
Yeah, let's do that for a few
Okay.
minutes.
If you're comfortable. What I find when I usually ask that question of the, and definitely people in Zoom land, I mean, are they able to be two-way with us? Can they talk?
If they unmute, they can talk.
Okay, so help me out and look who wants to talk by raising. You can raise a little yellow fist in Zoom land if you want to
raise
talk.
Your hand.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand and I'll see
Thank you. So what I find helps is if the instructor is willing to be vulnerable. And it's a hard thing to talk about, but I have talked about it. In fact, there was one place I talked about it. They put me in cherem. They put me in exile for a month. They have permitted me to come back. So it's a difficult thing. My wife Ilana, who is in that picture of us as 2 very young things, the picture I'm pointing at, that's 4 feet by 3 feet. It's a poster. Yeah, Peter, thanks. That's very helpful. So good to have a Zoom operator. My father took that picture like 15 minutes before the Passover Seder of 1970, and that's Ilana when she was very young, and I still am 4 years older, and we were together for a year and a half, but I wasn't mature enough, and she wanted to get serious, and so she broke up with me, and I never forgot her, and I went on with my life, got married to another woman, had 2 kids, separated and divorced, came back, that was back in New Jersey, came back to California, and I think our relationship is embedded in the fabric of the universe. I honestly do. I needed to find her, so I came up to Berkeley, and long story short, because I don't want to take too much room, I found her through a very strange way, but I did, and I got her phone number, and I called her, and the rest is history. And we've been together for over 30 years, got married at a synagogue in Marin, helped her to raise her 2 sons, my 2 holy stepsons, who I have a very good relationship with. And now, very unfortunately, she's got Parkinson's disease and dementia, And for the last, it's now 14 months almost, and she's in memory care. And so the question that I brought to the room, to my chamber in my heart, was, is it okay to, can I love Ilana, and is it okay to find love again? And that's a very hard thing. Very hard. It's a very tough question, I can tell you, in the Jewish community. I'm sure it's not an easy community outside the Jewish community, but evidently the psychological community has pretty much made up its mind, and their answer is yes. Didn't work in this synagogue that kicked me out for a month, but that is a fact about the psychological community. So that's what I'm asking for wisdom about, for what's the truth, what's the good, how do I accomplish the good while taking care of Ilana as best I can, and also taking care of myself. So that's my question, and that's my seeking of the good in my chamber of my heart. Anybody else in this room or in Zoom land?
As I said, anyone may unmute on Zoom, and they will be able to be heard. So.
Does she still know you?
She does. She does indeed.
I mean, consciously know you.
Oh yeah, she talks, and if we talk about family matters, like, oh, and I went to this synagogue and I was hanging out with our two boys, I mean her two sons, who I'm very close with, and when we had a picnic or whatever, and I helped put our grandchildren to bed, she says, oh, that's nice, that's good. You know, I mean, she's, you know, her affect is appropriate to the conversation, because I'm kind of cueing her. But as soon as I go silent, she'll just start telling me some kind of Parkinsonian hallucination. So that's
There's something in those hallucinations I've noticed, as I've been with loved ones who had dementia also. It's very interesting, actually.
It is. And there was another experience I had with her that is pursuant to both the very thing you said and pursuant to the question that I asked in that deep chamber in my heart. But I'm not going to go there. I want you guys to talk. Yeah.
So
Barry.
So what came to mind is Duke Bluebeard's Castle, Bartok's, where there are a number of doors, maybe 7 doors, I think, and I actually went through, I think, 5 doors.
Huh.
Of my nuclear family members, as it turned out. First door was our daughter, our incomprehensible daughter to me, who is pursuing the good in Wyoming, working with the Native American population. She went there during COVID with my cousin Robin, who's been, her whole career is working on a Native American reservation, doing education. Second door was my beloved wife. Next door was my father, Hechazan, who was my role model for everything. Next is my mother, who's in 2 months will be 100 years old. And has moved into moderate Alzheimer's. And I totally, short of the hallucinations, but she's in the moment, can talk about things, and then her short-term memory, it all evaporates.
Yeah.
And then my incomprehensible sister, who died a little before age 60. And the thing that I heard was just, particularly for my daughter, which is something I still work on with my sister, who pursued the good through other non-Jewish religious practices, and in LCSW, just to remain open, to keep my heart open. That's my task at this moment, is to do that. So that's what this led me to, and is keeping me on that path of remaining open.
Amen. So may it continue to be.
Thank you. Yes.
Amen.
My thing of truth is similar story to Tzvi's. Many know it here. My wife died of Parkinson's disease, a 18-year journey. And truth is, what am I responsible for, or what am I not responsible for?
Could you speak up a little bit louder, please?
I apologize. Thank you. Is that what am I responsible for and what am I not responsible for in other people's lives, in my, yes, you can let go of it, okay, it shows pretty well, thank you, is that, you know, in the truth, not only do I need to know the truth, how do I act on it, and when do I not act? And what are the changes required of me in how I practice and who I am even, caused by these externalities? Thank you.
Thank you.
I just
Anybody
wanted to
else?
say, when you invoked the divine presence,
Yes.
I gather that I did feel something really ethereally beautiful, and it just caused my spirits to, swirl like a little dance. Came through the screen, so thank you. And
You're welcome. Yeah.
and a footnote that I've learned, that when people change, when they become ill or they're on their way to dying or have dementia, that it is their, when we have that deep connection, as you say, in the fabric of the universe kind of relationship, that is just their soul that we love, their spirit. We love that of them, who they really are. And so the surface can change. And that helps me bear with the difficulty, is that there is that underlying love. I asked about whether I should continue, I know I should continue my spiritual practices in a certain area, which involves astral travel and multidimensional reality exploration. And I gotta, go for it. I mean, I have been and I feel good about it, but I wanted to get this divine presence that you brought so skillfully.
Wow.
That's all.
Thank you. Tell me your name.
Loki.
Hi,
I'm a
Loki.
friend of Peter's and Shimmer's.
Hi, Loki.
And I've met Ivan before.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, we went out to Chicago. Um, no, that's really neat. Yeah.
Anybody else who would like to talk? I have a little story, not exactly about me, about another class I taught. Has to do with the divine presence.
It's 4:39.
Your turn. Go.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
I'll just transition by being the final one to share on this. That was one of the better guided meditations that I've been to, because in our community there's like a zillion people do guided meditations. It's like it's almost normal, but it's almost like the go-to thing. And some people do a really great job, but some people it's sort of like you sort of like and it wasn't that it was that different from other guided meditations. It was just something about how you did it. And I'm never gonna see coffee presses the same way. You've sacralized coffee presses for me. And the question that I asked was that I feel really depressed. I feel like I can't breathe almost sometimes in this day and age that we're living in, when we're living in these mad times with this, government that just seems like it's kind of totally crazy. And we have I'm out of a job, so I'm looking for work, and it's like my stress level is just getting to that unmanageable point where you just like shut down, but then like no amount of sleeping seems to cure it. It's like you just want to go to sleep, but it doesn't really help. And so what I got was, and this is just for me, you might get something totally different, but what I got is just focus on the good, focus on this work that you're doing, trying to dialogue with people about the good, and make that what you live for. You know, you don't need to do more than that. You know, and I'm that being said, I'm grateful that there are other people out there who are doing really amazing things that, you know, I feel I don't have enough energy to do. You know, like there have been times when there are protests that I wanted to go to that I didn't have a chance to get to, or I didn't have the physical wherewithal to participate in, or whatever. And I so so let me transition from that into my talk. So let me grab the laptop because I am going to. I think it's probably fine if I disconnect from the power for just a second because it's not going to reach, but that's okay.
That will be fine. You got plenty of power in here.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm going to share my my PowerPoint here, but basically, I am the author of a book called The Religion of Good. And yeah, I'm going to share it here. And basically, I started this whole project of trying to figure out what this goodness thing is. And it started out as a personal project. Let's see here. And for some reason, it's not. There we go. Continue to share. Can you all see?
Everyone can see, and they can look on my screen too. So, okay.
Oh,
Well,
right.
all right, great. So, so this started out as a very personal project where, you know, I was in my tradition in Wicca. We don't have a lot of rules. We tend to, we have a few, but we don't tend to really be very rules oriented. It tends to be very, you know, kind of antinomian and kind of intuitive. And so I was trying to figure out what my ethics are. And I was sort of asking around, and what I kept on getting was, oh, just follow your heart, or just do what makes sense to you, or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but what is that? How do I bootstrap this whole thing? So I being the intellect, well, I had already, you know, written off religious dogma, because obviously that doesn't work. I mean, who's right? You know, Christians, Muslims, you know, there's all these different religions that clash over these dogmatic issues because they all feel that some divinity has revealed some quote unquote truth about what they think is good. So I'd already written that off. And so I started with philosophy, and because I'm a real super intellectual person, I thought I'll read a book. I'll read books. That's gonna solve my problem. And then that didn't solve the problem. And so I kind of kept on going with things until I started to realize there's a problem in my community with people not being able, having trouble communicating. It doesn't mean that people don't know how to do this, but the people having trouble communicating to others what they're doing to figure this out. And there was a problem. And then I started realizing this problem is at least a problem with the entire West. I don't know. I won't want to speak for the rest of the world, but at least in the West, I think that we're in an ethics crisis. And so then I had an idea about it in the middle of the pandemic, kind of an epiphany, and wrote a book. And now I'm trying to dialogue with other people because part of my practice that I recommend in the book is to dialogue, and so I'm actually practicing that. So I'm a Wiccan priest of 20 years. I was also raised in a Zen Buddhist community, San Francisco Zen Center. My dad's actually a Zen Buddhist priest, so I sort of like, if Zen comes in here and you recognize that, that's probably why. I've already covered like a lot of this. So what I'm going to do in this talk is I'm going to talk about the ethics, why I think we're in an ethics crisis, and how I hit a brick wall. And I think this is like a communal brick wall. I don't think I'm just the only one who's hit this brick wall. I'm going to talk about what the spiritual solution that I came to, which is not philosophy. It's not, I didn't come to here to say this is what's right and what's wrong. It's more like this is what I came to realize about this ethics thing, and how I feel that we formulate that in ourselves. And then a little bit on the sort of spiritual practices I'm recommending. But then, like, at the end of this whole thing that we're doing today, I'm going to do a Wiccan style ritual that's not gonna that where I don't have like the actual divinities and spirits that we work with because I want to sort of peel the religious label off so you guys can do with that what works for you, or do something else but get a model of what somebody else is doing at least. Um, okay, so just to jump in to the ethics crisis. Um, so I've already said why I don't like reason. Why I don't like dogma. I like reason. Reason is great. Reason works really well, but it doesn't work 100%. Like there's problems with reason. So I'd already written off dogma, and I'm at this point. This is a little bit before the pandemic, where I'm trying to give myself a crash course in philosophy and reading a lot of the philosophers, and basically went, none of this stuff works for me anyway.
Can you say briefly why?
Yes, I will say briefly why. I'll say more. I'll do better. I won't even be brief about it. All right. So in Western philosophy, there's three major branches. There's virtue ethics, which comes from Aristotle. There's categorical imperatives, also known as, that's an example of something called deontology, which comes from Immanuel Kant. And there's consequentialism, which, some examples of the example of the consequentialist that I read was John Stuart Mill. He's not the founder of it, but whatever the case. All right. And I actually found there's a contemporary philosopher, Alasdair MacIntyre, who wrote a book called After Virtue, in which he actually gives a philosophy of why he thinks that none of these philosophies really work. So I was actually vindicated by this. I'm like, this isn't just me. It's just like, it isn't just that I don't get it. It's like deeply intellectual, philosophical people who know better about this stuff than I do agree with me on this. All right. Or I agree with them, I guess. So like virtue ethics, is basically the idea that there's virtues and you follow them. You be courageous or hospitable or patient or merciful or whatever it is whatever virtues you have on your list. And there's problems with this, which is, first of all, how do you know which virtues you want to have? There's no actual virtue of figuring out what virtues you want to have, and so therefore virtue ethics can fail and it doesn't contextualize it well enough. And then like there's people who are pretty evil who might be said to be virtuous. I mean, there are people who are courageous, who you could say that there are like really evil people who have a sort of courage or a sort of strength because they were courageous enough to do all the evil things that they did. You could say that like loyalty can be really misguided. That could be a virtue, but you could be like, you don't want to be loyal to the wrong nation or the wrong people or the wrong cult, right? So like virtue ethics didn't, like, I believe in being virtuous, but it didn't land for me for those reasons. It didn't really help me work through moral dilemmas. This is the real problem here, is that it wasn't working in day-to-day life. Categorical, and like all of these have wisdom, right? Like I think the best of all this is learning the wisdom from this more than the knowledge. Categorical imperatives are the concept that if you want to know if anything is wrong or bad, you ask basically how would it be if we all did that, and then if the answer is we shouldn't all do that, then it's wrong. So like if you want to know, is it okay to like punch a philosopher in the nose because I don't particularly like what this philosopher isn't actually helping me solve moral dilemmas. I think, well, but how would it be if everybody punched each other in the nose when they didn't really like each other? Well, that wouldn't be a good world. I wouldn't want to live in such a world. So no, that would be wrong. Okay. And you can get into like, they're also like really, can get really boxy. Like, should you, you're under a tyrannical regime, you're harboring fugitives from the tyrannical regime, and the secret police ask, are you harboring fugitives? Should you tell the truth? Because one of your categorical imperatives is we should all tell the truth, or should you lie as part of harboring the fugitives because you have another categorical imperative that says you ought to do that, so they can conflict. It's like, how do you know which categorical imperatives you ought to have? Like, it's not enough context. Again, there's like this lack of context that with these philosophers. Still wise, because I feel like the practice of doing that made me a better person, but not like a solution, right? I didn't solve my problem. So then there's something called consequentialism, which is the concept we should optimize happiness and minimize suffering for all, which sounds great. Like most people who, I think a lot of people think this way, and that's great. That's good that you're thinking that way. I thought this way for a long time, and I sort of still do. But there's problems with it. And like McIntyre points out, the real underlying problem, which is how you define happiness and suffering will radically change your conclusions. And so like this is a very McIntyrean example. I don't know if it's actually from his book, because I can't remember now, or whether it's my example, but it's very McIntyrean. The Cold War, right? Like this is a clash between two economic views, but there are also two consequentialist views and two ethical views. You have the authoritarian Stalinists, communists, who believe that you should maximize people's happiness by making sure their needs are met, like their food and their shelter and all of that. But in order to do that, people have to lose their freedom, and the party has to always win. And so you have an authoritarian government. And then on the other side of that, you have the free market capitalists who say, no, the most important part of happiness type of happiness is freedom. And we need to make sure everybody's free. And and the price we pay for our freedom is that some people will die of starvation in the streets. So I won't weigh in on how we navigate that dilemma. But like, this is why consequentialism didn't land for me. All right. And again, I think for McIntyre, this was a problem of like, there's too many different directions this can go. And so then I kind of, went, okay, maybe the people who are telling me I should just follow my heart or just be intuitive are right. Like maybe there's a reason why, like we've gone through this attempt to use reason, and that's kind of failed us. So maybe we should do that. But then what happens if our intuitions collide? That happens all the time. Like I run into this thing where people think that I'm just an absolute evil, horrible person for something that I thought was a really important, good thing to do. Or vice versa, like I think, God, I can't believe this person's doing this thing that's just horrible. But, they're kind of like, what? Like I'm a good, moral, just, honorable person. So then I went, okay, wait. Maybe this is like Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's moral relativism, right? It's like we all have different ideas about it, and we should all just get along. Well, that's what I thought when I was like in my 20s, when I just graduated from college. Like it seems like a utopia until I realized, there's problems with that too, because the problem with it, there's several problems with that. One is like the idea that we ought to get along is not part of moral relativism. It's outside of that frame, right? Like that's a universalist conception, because somebody might go a completely different direction with moral relativism, which is well, our tribe or nation or whatever it is inevitably going to come into moral conflicts with others. So we should just conquer all of them and assert ourselves and, dominate the world so that we end up on top, because otherwise we'll be the victims. And that's nationalism, which is really super creepy. And that, like, there's people, well, I won't name names, but there's people in Washington right now who think exactly that way. So that could go really badly. Also, I think that ethics is really, the subject of ethics is really relationships among people rather than people. And there doesn't seem to be a account in moral relativism for how we can interrelate with each other if our cultures or our ethical assumptions are different from each other. That's doable, but it's outside of the frame of that, right? Which sort of begs the question again. So, I know I'm going kind of fast. I can go back through all this in question and answer, but we also have a ritual, and I want to get. It's almost already 5, so about halfway through our 2-hour program. So during the pandemic, I was stewing with all of this, and then I decided I could either be upset that we're in this situation with the pandemic, or I can accept it as sort of a cloister,
Accepted as
a sort of cloister, right? Like a monastic. I can accept it almost monastically. Like there's like in Catholicism they have like these monks in cloisters,
right.
who just live alone. They're isolated and from the rest of the world, and so I decided to accept, and right around this time I was hitting the dark night of the soul, because I was feeling like I didn't have an answer to any of this stuff. I felt like I didn't know how to be a good person, and I was extremely frustrated in a very deep way. But I decided that the spiritual thing for me to do would be to accept that I'm in a cloistered situation, sort of embrace that, and embrace this dark night of the soul. Allow all of the questions to come up in my mind, including complete nihilism, and just really let anything and everything come out of me that's going to confront me, until I have an answer, and just hope that I have an answer. Fortunately, an answer came, which is that I came to the conclusion that the best approach to ethics is not a rational one or a dogmatic one from some sort of apparent divine revelation that somebody in your religion had thousands of years ago, nor a just flat intuitive an intuition that hasn't you haven't done anything to sort of refine intuitivism, but rather I came to feel that goodness is an ineffable mystery, and I don't just think that because I didn't have an answer. I felt that because I started to feel that this is one of those things that it's like, when you can't sort of figure out, you can't do a mathematical proof about it, you can't do a scientific experiment about it. What is this? And yet it seems to be a real thing. It's not like you can't just. Relativism doesn't work either. There's some real thing that I feel like we're all trying to get at. We're like the blind people and the elephant, but that goodness elephant is there. So I felt like this is an ineffable mystery. You can't really speak of it exactly. It's mysterious in the sense that we'll never entirely know it. It's always something that we can, we'll never get to the full truth of it. Something we'll always be going back to and getting more and more and more information about. We'll always have our own perspectives on. So that makes it ineffable and mysterious, because we always have our perspectives. And I thought, wait, where have I seen this ineffable mystery thing before? And I went, oh yeah, divinity. That's the other place I encountered a divine mystery before. So I went, well, okay, wait a second, but I can't just treat this as like it is divinity, because then I'm right back at that religious dogma thing. But I thought maybe I can use the same techniques that I use to get at divinity, that, and I can use those techniques to get at this other ineffable mystery thing called goodness, and I can get spiritual about this whole goodness thing. And that won't make me know, in some sense, that I won't be able to shake my finger at people and say, no, you're wrong. I know because, I met the good and the good told me so. No, of course I can't do that, but at least I can get what I've come to call spiritual touch points. And this is, I think, where we came up with the concept of grasping the good. We can get a handle on it. We can get a grip on it. How do the blind people in that parable, one guy's grasping the trunk and thinks the elephant's a snake. One guy's grasping the tail and thinks it's a rope. One guy's touching or gal, whoever, is touching, or, gender fluid person, whatever. You don't have to genderize the blind people. They're touching the wall,
hide.
the hide, and thinks it's a wall, right? And they're all trying to get this sense, like, how do they know that it's an elephant? Well, several ways. First of all, they touch it in multiple places. And secondly, they talk to each other. And they say, we're all touching this different thing, And so I went, aha! What I need to do is gain my spiritual touch points on the good through some spiritual process. And then maybe other people can get their spiritual touch points on that. And then we have to have, then we can dialogue. And I think the key here is to be humble about this in the right way. Like I feel like there's good humility and bad humility. Like sort of bad humility is like, I'm a loathsome wretch and I'm unworthy. And I don't have much use for that in my life, because that's saying you're worse than everybody else. And it's sort of an impediment to getting to the divine. Like I relate to the divine as a intimate being that I love, as a family member, a friend, a lover, a mother, whatever. And, but arrogance also detracts from our ability to dialogue with people, because, so there is one virtue that came up for me, which is the virtue of the right kind of humility, which is, I am no greater than anybody else. It's an egalitarian form of humility, which is also taking pride in ourselves, is exactly the same thing in the opposite direction, which is, so those of you in the fairy community, I'm actually a fairy student, as well as a third-degree Gardnerian priest and a bunch of other things, and so I'm familiar with like the Iron Pentacle. One of the points on that is pride, and so you guys know what I'm talking about. So it's like, I actually mean the same thing. Like to me, those that pride point is also the same thing as could be called the right kind of humility, which could be called egalitarianism. I am equal to everyone. Which direction I'm going depends on how I feel, whether I feel less than everyone or more than everyone. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go through absolutely all of this, but I have handouts, and people can contact me. My email address is ivan.p.richmond@gmail.com. Feel free to email me up for the talk, and I can get you all the stuff. And plus, I wrote a book, so if you want to buy the book, please do, if you're interested in it. I'm gonna kind of skip over the Tetractys a little bit. It's very seminal to what I said, but I don't know how much it's worth unpacking right now. The point is, for the purposes of this talk, that I came to the conclusion that spiritual practices are what's really going to get us there. And actually, I will talk a little bit. I will use this a little bit. Do I have this on my... Yeah, there we go. That's the slide I want. So I came to the conclusion, I kind of categorized spiritual practices into 3 groups, and that's just the grouping that makes sense to me. You could categorize anything in any innumerable ways. But for me, what made sense was myth, ritual, and ecstatic practices or trance work. So myth isn't just stories, but also like things like characters. So like Lady Justice is a mythological being, Lady Liberty is a mythological being, etc. Right? And so we have these symbols, whether they have stories about them or not, these characters or whatever, that to us symbolize something sacred. And so here I'm talking about the symbols we use for goodness. So like Lady Justice would be a great example, the lady with the scales and the sword, and she's blindfolded, like all that, right? But then we don't just, that's not enough. Like we don't just symbolize it. Ritual to me is when we interact with those symbols. Obviously, there's more to people probably argue there's more to ritual than just that. But one important aspect I think we'll agree is that if ritual is that we're interacting with mythology in some way. And by the way, this does not deny divinity because for me, the mythic is not it's not myth in the sense of being false, as in it's a myth that that Neanderthals were super stupid. Turns out they were actually very intelligent. Um, it's more myth in the sense of in the sense of like something that how we describe divinity. So if people believe in some form of divinity, they can describe that divinity in myth. If they don't, they might describe other things with myth, right? So sacred things that are sacred to us, we often describe mythologically. Ineffable mysteries, we often describe mythologically because we have no other way of describing them. It's the poetry we use to describe the ineffable. The ritual is how we interact when we become part of that, and we interact with that, and we come into that world, right? So we're present in that, and then sort of at the pinnacle of this is what I'm calling ecstatic experiences or trance work or whatever. So this is where you kind of go transcend just this interaction with mythic symbolism to this point at which you go into an altered state of consciousness, and you actually kind of start, like, your mind kind of goes blank, or however you describe that. You go into this altered state of consciousness, and I feel like you get this feeling sense. You feel something. And so if you aim it right, you feel the ineffable mystery that you're getting at, right? And so I say that it's like if you parachute over Waikiki, or if you parachute over the Hawaiian Islands, you might not land on Waikiki Beach, but if you do use the right mythic symbolism and the right ritual, then you can kind of get yourself to the right elephant, as it were, that you could get touch points on, if you see what I mean. So I think that that's actually ultimately how we relate to the good. And let me skip a few of these slides. But fortunately, those of us who are already spiritual already got this because we're already doing this anyway. So in my book, I have a whole ton of, I've just gone through like the first 3 chapters out of 10 right now. The rest of the book is about how to do all this. But we already got this because, if you're already in a religion that has spiritual practices, or a non-religion that has spiritual practices, you're spiritual, you can already use all these techniques. And it's also important to do a return journey with this. So I don't want people to just go up into the ozone, because that feels really good to be spiritual, but come back down and work in a soup kitchen or whatever you feel called to do, because that's the actual material world, and this only matters if we're doing good in the material world. And we need not go alone. We can go in community, and we can also dialogue through interfaith, or just comparing notes with our fellow travelers. So I know that was a lot to go through, but we're gonna actually do this in a little bit. But I thought that I would. We'll maybe do a few questions now, and then I'll do the ritual, and then we'll do more questions.
Sure.
So it's 5:10. We'll start the ritual maybe 5:15, 5:20, something like that. Yes, sir, Mr. Peter.
Let me get my camera here.
Okay.
I trust
Yeah.
to be seen by the people on the Zoom. I've been in the idea of dialogue that you mentioned.
Yes.
I have been in experience of systems of dialogue for about 40 years, working with various people.
All right.
And the idea of a dialogue in these systems is that I speak to the field of discourse. That that the people hearing is that what is spoken in some way enlarges the community, the world of the spirits, the world of the God, that which can happen. And one of the questions coming up as you were speaking for me is, why should I care about the good?
Ah, yes, thank you.
Why should I care about that? Not that it excites me. Why should
Right.
I have an intellectual discussion? Why should, if I lived alone, I was kind of the monad. There's nothing around me.
Yes.
If even existence is possible, then I wouldn't have to be concerned about the good,
Yes.
because there's no relationship. I'd have to divide myself.
Yes.
My leg hurts. If I'm in that
Yes.
state. Oh, that's not good. This dialogue, the good itself is a dialogue. That it cannot exist unless there's some other that I can speak to, that I can punch the philosopher. And something comes back. Ouch! Or I can give the philosopher plate of baklava, and the philosopher says, "That's sweet." Concerning with the good, when you have this triangle of monad, dyad, tetrad,
Yes.
whatever, quadratrad,
Tetrad.
tetrad. Thank you. Is that what? It's all process, and it all has something to do with, in a sense, the most simple thing is tiny baby nursing at the breast. This is good. Diaper is covered with shit. And there's something here I don't have the answer for, involving communication, why should I even speak about it? Why do I care to talk about it?
Okay. So
I'm going to go now.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, thank you, Peter. That's a really great question. I do put discuss this more in my book, I think in chapter 1. But my
Could you end this sharing so that people, so the screens can, so that people can see each other's face?
Oh, sure. Let me get my throat working. I've been talking for a long time. Let me just get a swig of water real quick.
That's good.
Then I'll answer the question.
Okay. And other people might want to talk to questions also. Jonah has her hand raised.
Okay, well, hold on, Peter. Let me answer the question.
I'm letting people know that there's a dialogue here.
Right. Wait, got it. But let me answer your question. All right. All right. So there's like a bunch of reasons that I give in the book, but I'll tell you my top reason, which is if I led a completely selfish life and I got to the end of that life, I'd be on my deathbed and my life would have no meaning because I only cared about my own happiness. I would have happy memories as well as, bad memories. But I would come to realize sort of a hell that I'm about to die and I didn't take advantage of this gift of life to make the world a better place. And I think that I could only give my life meaning by actually making the world a better place for other people, because otherwise that's the only way that it does anything other than just make me happy, because that happiness is just going to disappear. As soon as I'm dead, that happiness won't matter. But if I can help other people, then that will matter and give my life meaning. And the more I started thinking about this, and the more I've been working with this, the more I've come to feel that that ethics is all important for everything. Like, you need an ethical context to make sense of way more things than I initially thought. Even something like mental health. I'll let people think about why we might need an ethical context for mental health. But even something like mental health, you almost need an ethical context for it. Um, so I'll just like leave it at that and see if that lands for you. But basically, the more I thought about this, the more I felt that it's not that that some divinity is going to spank me if I'm bad and I don't want to be spanked. It's that I want my life to have meaning, and therefore I feel a need, not just a want, but a need to be a good person, at least try to be a good person, try to live my life well, and try to be ethical. Because um and this is a little bit this is a little bit like it's a choice, but it's also the only choice I can make. It's a little bit like falling in love. It's like falling in love is like you've made a choice, but yet you have an option not to, but you also feel that the only right thing is to be in love. And so it's sort of like that. It's like I feel that the only way that my life can have meaning is for me to be ethical.
That works for me.
Yeah.
I note on the Zoom that Jonah has raised their hand, and if you unmute and speak,
Yes.
we'll be able to hear you.
Yes.
Jonah?
Sure. Can you hear me well before I go
Yeah.
on?
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for all that. I appreciate a lot what the opening and what you're putting out there in your own way. Um, I have several responses in just maybe a minute or two, to some of the points. Something that was brought up to me recently was the idea of Kundalini, which I think can be related to chi or ki or some kind of a larger flow of energy. And what I've learned to trust is the larger flow, God source life, whatever we do or don't call it, versus
Mhm.
our little personal mind, which could be more like an ego or just a personal mind. So to trust the
Mhm.
larger internal flow inside myself and outside ourselves,
Mhm.
far beyond ourselves, and just raising and lowering the hands slowly did calm me down. So I think it has the energy with which we present things is even more important than some of the ideas and so forth. It's like our being communicates much more. And I think our mind is often in conflict. And the human journey is to get out of the head traffic and head mind and into the heart mind or into some kind of larger flow.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
Yeah.
I I thought it was really interesting when somebody said all the major religions got it really wrong. They're just boxes. They're just boxes or anchor touchstones. But the Buddhists maybe got it the least wrong. So a lot of the Buddhist traditions have a lot of beautiful, pieces to them. And one of them is that it's ineffable. It's so much bigger than you can see. It's a mystical law of cause and effect. It is cause and effect, but it's mystical. So there's so many more things playing out than we can see. So all we can do is do our best to tame our own heart or whatever you call it, tame our own mind and access our heart to put it into words quickly, right? And
Mm.
then just flow and let all the myriad pieces work themselves out because there's much more at play than we can see. So we try to analyze it and this, that, it's often goes awry. Um, I think our minds can be in conflicts, but in truth, our intuition or our higher self isn't in conflict, and the values are in conflict. I think it's a lower level that's in conflict. And I think it's important to listen with our feelings. And I really like the idea of just stay what we say from our perspective. And all of our perspectives are adding in parts of the mystical elephant or the mystical puzzle pieces that we're all picking up on by listening to each other in that way and allowing it all to cohere into something much larger. So that would be some of my quick responses. Thank you very much for presenting and listening and sharing.
Yeah, that's really interesting about the flow. I'm gonna have to think about that because this is almost like almost another way to describe describe divinity that makes me think of Taoism, but um, it was be other things as well. But yeah, there's this like aspect of divinity that's almost kind of like um, a waterway, irrigation ditches, a river, or something like that comes to mind. Um,
Yeah, the great flow. You have to let the
yeah.
waters flow, living waters flow in the Jewish even. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Great. Yeah, thanks. That's really neat. I really appreciate you sharing that. So, let's see here. How are we for time? So it's
We
5:21.
should do the ritual.
Let's do the ritual,
Yeah.
and then we'll have time for more questions after.
Oh, and by the way, folks, there is for those of you in the room, there's food in the back. Okay, there's some nibbles.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna put the computer back together. And Mr. Cameraman, how do you want to handle things with regard to the ritual?
Well, tell me where you're going to be moving and now.
Yeah, so I've set it up here on this. This is sort of my altar here.
Okay, so this is your altar. Okay. What I'll do is very simply, if this is your altar, this beautiful brass thing, we now have the camera there.
And how about people? Barry, would you mind coming in to
Come sit on the divan.
Come sit on the divine. Yes.
Yes, sit on the
divine.
divine. And I hope that's okay for people. I know, like, I have a back problem, and you guys may not be totally comfortable. Okay. So first off, should I move over here where people can people can see me here. All right. So first off, let's once again do this deep breathing. Let's just breathe 3 times with the
High key breath in through the nose.
yeah. So deep breath. Hold for a moment and slowly let it out. And another deep breath. Hold for a moment and slowly let it out. And a third deep breath. Hold for a moment and slowly let it out. As you continue to breathe deeply but easily, feel that you are a tree and send your roots deep, deep down into the earth, around rocks, to find the nutrients and moisture and power of the earth, our mother. Draw it up, draw it up, draw it up, draw it up. And feel that your branches are reaching up to the sky, and we are here, like a grove of trees in the sunlight. We are here, we are here, we are here. Merry meet everyone. I conjure water. I conjure earth. Together, they are the womb. I conjure fire. I conjure air. Together, they are the spark of life. And by the way, you're going to see me waving this dagger around. This is called Inathame, and it's to make sacred space and other things. It's a ritual thing, not a weapon for the conventional sense. I water and earth for once around, in the name of the One, we hallow this ground, before it must all evil flee. This is our will, so mote it be. Can anybody not do incense smoke? By fire and air, for once around, in the name of the All, we charge this ground, before it must Circle, circle, round about, with one and all throughout and about. Circle, circle, round about, with one and all throughout and about. Circle, circle, round about, with one and all throughout and about. Hail to the angels of the East. We ask that you help us to know the good. Hail and be welcome. Hail to the angels of the South. We ask that you help us to will the good. Hail and be welcome.
Hail and be welcome.
Hail to the angels of the West. We ask that you help us to dare the good. Hail and be welcome. Hail to the angels of the North. We ask that you help us to touch the good. Hail and be welcome. And can we join hands? Is that going to work? And maybe, let's see, Peter and Deborah, would you mind, maybe you could put your hand on the laptop, and people can have a sense of
Sure.
being in circle with us? All right. Mother Earth, blue and green, and you can start chanting as soon as you learn the words.
Okay.
Mother Earth, blue and green, global girth and crossroad queen. Mother Earth, blue and green, global girth and crossroad queen. Mother Earth, blue and green, global girth and crossroad queen. Mother Earth, blue and green, global girth and crossroad queen. Mother Earth, blue and green, global girth and crossroad queen. Mother Earth, blue and green, global girth and crossroad queen. Mother Earth, blue and green, global girth and crossroad queen. Hail, Mother Earth, please help us to find the good and to grasp the good. All right, now let's join hands. Actually, you can. This is a good time for you to drum.
Okay.
Can you? Will it work for you to?
That's gonna be hard.
No, okay. We'll just. You're included, but
I'm included.
Yeah.
You'll just have to channel one of those four-handed
Yes.
Hindu goddesses who,
There you go.
who can drum and hold hands at the same
I
time.
can try.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. All right. All right.
You try.
So once again, this is really easy to pick up. Join in as soon as you learn it. I am we are one, we are one, and I am we are one, we are one, and I am we are one, we are one, and I am we. I am we are one, we are one, and I am we. I am we are one, we are one, and I am we. Can we dance? I am we are one, we are one, and I am we. Don't move your head. I am we
are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. One are we. We are one. We are one. One are we. We are
All right.
Woo!
And let's just sit down and ground a bit. Put that good energy back into Mother Earth. All right, let's just join hands again, and you guys, we're gonna thank Mother Earth here.
May I make a suggestion as we do this ritual?
Why don't we just finish the ritual and then?
Okay, a suggestion involving finishing the ritual. Open to questions, and then we open the circle.
Okay, yeah, I guess we could do that.
The idea being that the
Okay.
dialogue occurs within the circle. Just an idea. It's your ritual, but just a thought.
All right. Well, why don't we thank Mother Earth now, and then
Okay.
Then
Then we'll dialogue. Okay.
yeah, Mother Earth. Why don't you guys? Could you guys touch the screen to
Sure, of
put
course.
everybody
Yes.
else on the Zoom? Yeah.
Yes.
Mother-
Make sure it doesn't fall here.
Mother Earth, blue and green, global girth and crossroad queen. We thank you for your attention and your blessing in this rite. You are with us always. Blessed be.
Blessed
Blessed
be.
be.
Blessed be. Blessed be.
All right.
Blessed be.
Let's sit in the circle around the while we're in circle.
Yeah.
Sit around the
Yeah.
copper
Yes,
thing here.
it lived.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good idea, Peter. We can certainly not close circle.
We'll close the circle after the dialogue, so it
That
occurs
sounds
within
good.
the magic.
Sure. Yeah. Good idea. Very dialogical.
It's very dialogical.
Yes.
I like how we moved into the Moroccan space,
Yes.
Yes.
the ritual space.
Yeah.
And we are in dialogue now. We are in council. People may speak as they are called to. When anyone is speaking, we will listen to the speaking of their hearts as if they were our own.
A thought that in this reunion, where we are one, as you were raising the cone of power towards that, in that goodness, the focus of this today naturally arises in that reuniting, that remembering that we are all of the source, that we are all one, underneath the myriad spirituality manifestations there are. That just seemed, I felt the happiness, and I thought, this is goodness. This is the goodness arising from the union, the reunion, the remembering of the one that we all are part of. Just a thought.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel it.
You know, when I drum, I lose myself. On one hand, there has to be enough of, I guess, ego or something to make sure that I'm following the rhythm of the music you're singing. I mean, I do have to do that. That is my job as a drummer. Follow the rhythm, because I'm not setting the rhythm. You are. So there's a part of me that has to be conscious, aware, ego, call it what you want, to follow the rhythm. And yet, at the same time, what the drumming does to me, even though I'm drumming, is I go to a place of no place. No, I guess no ego. Just no self, no normal self. And I don't know if I touched the good, but I mean, my Hasidic ancestors would call that yichud, non-dual consciousness. Y-I-C-H-U-D, yichud. And I rarely get to go there. I go to the Vekud, dual consciousness, pretty frequently, but that was good. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.
The word good I will use, it's good ice cream, even though I don't eat ice cream. The word good is Martin Luther King has done good. That ritual was a good ritual.
Yeah.
The raising of the energy. The ritual implied we're calling on Mother Earth. The thing, there was a words you said kind of in the closing where we let Mother Earth, we thanked her at the end there. That the idea that we do this ritual and are opening ourselves up, that either I'm opening myself to know a good that's already in me and I'm letting it out, or I'm receiving it from Mother Earth, from whatever. And the question, you talked about kind of the idea of religion, revealed religion, of doctrine. Do we know the good because we enter in relationship with the earth, maybe with the transcendent divine, with each other? And that the good is, in a sense, looking at your triangle of little bowling balls, platonic bowling balls. In the cave, there's a bunch of bowling balls, I think, and that the good is in fact something that's pre-existent, a form, an archetype, or do we make it? And I don't know. The fact that we do a ritual, that we're acting out that which we desire in the larger world. The circle will open. We've created a little zodiac right here. And the stars, the guardians, are looking in, and we're the planets. And therefore, when the circle's open, we will, in a sense, be in alignment with the zodiac, with the larger planets, and that the good is already out there. Or does it emerge? I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, that is good.
There's another thought that comes to me from both 12-step practice and from the Psalms of David. So there's a phrase that occurs in a variety of psalms. There's one psalm somewhere in the 20s. I don't know which one it is.
Could you speak up a little bit?
Oh, sure. There's a psalm that has the phrase, Hodi'eni derech zu elech, allow me to know, make me know. It's a causative verb, a verbal root in the causative. Cause me to know, help me to know the path that I need to walk on. So, and the word good isn't mentioned, but to me it's implicit that, if the way I do religion, spirituality, my job is to ask the divine, to ask God, to ask the Holy Mama. So the good is the path you want me to walk. Help me to know the path, the derech, the path, the road that you want me to walk, which of course is echoed in step 11 of the 12 steps, sought through prayer and meditation to develop a conscious relationship with God, asking only for a knowledge, knowing, of your will for me and the power, the courage, to carry that out. It echoes the Psalms. And so the word good never doesn't occur, neither in the 11th step, right? I'm a codependent in recovery. Neither in the 11th step nor in the various places in the Psalms where it says, help me to know the path that I need to walk. It just says, help me to know the path. And that metaphor has worked for me for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Without explicitly saying the word the good.
Yeah, and what comes up for me with that is back to this concept that falling in love with somebody is neither a choice, and yet it is a choice. So it's both something that you will, and it's also something that's the only possible choice that you can will. And there's a sense to which like I feel like for me, I've always been kind of turned off by the type of divinity that sort of bosses us around and tells us what we ought to do. Divinity to me is not a boss, but divinity is this being that we love and that we interact with in a loving way. And so what comes to me is like the path that you're asking for is in one sense the path that you want, but that's not quite right. It's the path you love.
The
but it's
path
also
that I do out of love.
Yeah, the path.
In the relationship with the beloved.
Yeah. The path that it's the path that you love, and it's the path that but it's the path that you must and simultaneously will to follow.
Wow.
That makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the heart, not logically, but in the heart.
Yeah. I think it looks like you're getting ready to say something, Deborah.
Well, there are two different things I could talk about, and I think there's only time for one, so I will give you a choice.
We have about 10 minutes to
well,
talking, and then we have to go open the circle. And
yeah.
so,
Well,
so
nevertheless, let me give you a choice.
speak what you need to say.
No, that's what I just did.
Okay.
You're giving us a choice. She's decided to give us a choice.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what's the two,
One of two things. One would have to do with something where my defense of virtue ethics. That would be one thing I could talk about, and this is more intellectual, but it has some relationship to this whole problem. The other thing would have to do with the consequences of behavior, and the more you experience connection, the more difficult it is to act.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Say that again. The more you experience.
The more you experience connection with everything, or all sentient beings, or life on Earth, or something like that, the more difficult it is to act, knowing that some of the consequences of your action might cause harm to another being.
Oh, wow.
So pick one. That's why I said there's not time. Pick one.
Yeah. Maybe we can ask you later.
Can I respond to that in the circle?
Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what she has to
let her
develop.
finish, and then
Well,
and then
no, I
when
just-
there's
we need to
silence.
we need to pick
Okay.
one. So
Yeah, please,
so what-
please, whichever one. The thing about virtue ethics is a little more cut and dried. The other one sort of goes on into personal, all kinds of. It goes in a lot of directions.
What do people? Any thoughts? So which one do you want?
I will just say that the idea that the difficulty is the essence of life. That it's the discomfort.
But I think she's gonna develop her point if we.
Oh, you,
Well, I
you
think-
could-
I
are
think-
you
all
open?
right,
Are
I
you
think
open
that was fine.
to cross talk to going
Okay.
deeper, or
Well-
do you want to talk more? It's,
Well,
no.
I'll just say briefly that when I was doing mostly lunar magic, which was about community and flow and
yeah.
sisterhood and feeling at one with the earth and all this stuff, I came to a point where I found it very difficult to do magic.
Oh
And so I had to seek out a solar spiritual practice that was ego driven and had to do with what your true self wants to balance it out, because I got to a point with the lunar and earth stuff where it had been very good for me. I mean, I needed it, and I developed with it, and then I got to a point where I started thinking, it's not real to me anymore, and I think I'm missing a spiritual vitamin. So I had to go and do the other thing. Whereas there were people in that tradition, which was rather masculine as well as being solar, that I think would have benefited from having some of the earth stuff or some of the emotional connection and the sense of responsibility to community. Because I don't think any of these paths by itself is, I'm making a judgment here, but there are people like Jane's that just, will do anything not to cause harm. But because we are animals, and we can even plants compete for the light. We being animals have to consume life, and we can try to do just the stuff that's been spread out for like berries that are intended to have more than will grow, or you can be like a mushroom and just eat things that are already dead.
Live off that.
But that is not actually our nature.
Yeah.
That's not the way we evolved. So although I don't, for some people that may be a path that they choose, but I don't think the human race can do it as a whole.
Do you mind if I?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I said most of what I had to say on that topic.
So my response is, like, I was actually thinking about this on the drive up, and I've dealt with this several times, and I keep on coming back to the same conclusion, which is that, see, we're part of the cosmos.
Yes.
And so there's this problem where we can kind of like want to harmonize with the whole thing, but then we kind of like cut ourselves out, and we don't see ourselves in the picture because we're looking out of ourselves, and so therefore we look at, like, how do I harmonize with Zvi and Barry and Peter and Deborah and all the people on Zoom, and I forget about that I'm an actor in this. And then you can like put yourself in the perspective of, like, I'm this actor and I'm doing all these actions, and then like lose track of their needs. And so, like, to me, then there's like this additional synthesis that's needed between my ego and the cosmos, and the key for me has been to sort of remind myself that I'm part of that whole, and kind of learn to dance with that.
Both of what you said brings up a question for me. If I say, this is good for me, is there anything to say that is not of the good? That is your thing of kind of, you could describe it as solar, the kind of the egoic, not necessarily the bad ego, but the egoic, I want that berry. Oh, I want to eat that squirrel. I want to eat that cow. Certainly, the steak tastes very good. The cow in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is going, of course, here, let me cut you a steak from my side, that you can imagine a world. But the point being is that when we were doing the dance, one of the chant turned into, I am one. No, so we are one, but I am one. What is this balance here? The good so often is, it's that thing that I give. How do I receive? And it's of the essence when people talk about feminine and masculine. The feminine, I'm the moon, I'm where the light is pouring onto me. That's very good. It's very active. Thank you.
Is anybody on the call?
On the Zoom, does anyone want to speak?
Shall we close ritual, and then I'll put my email and whatnot into some links and stuff.
Are we ready on the Zoom to? Is everyone ready to close the circle? There's someone who's raised their hand. There's a hand raised. Laura, unmute yourself, and please speak.
That's just a thumbs up to please close the ritual.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we can do that.
That would be good.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so So yeah, if you just stand up. So or if you want to stand up, you can sit down if you want, whatever you want to do it. But usually we face the cardinal directions at this point. So hail to the angels of the north. Thank you for your attention and your blessing. Go if you must, stay if you will, but ere you depart, we bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Hail the angels of the west. We thank you for your attention and your blessing. Go if you must, stay if you will, but ere you depart, we bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Hail to the angels of the south. Thank you for joining our circle and guarding our right. Go if you must, stay if you will, but ere you depart, we bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Hail to the angels of the east. Thank you for joining our circle and guarding our right. Go if you must,
Yes,
stay if you will, but ere you depart, we bid you hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Work done, web spun, circle end where 'twas begun. Work done, web spun, circle end where 'twas begun. Work done, web spun, circle end where 'twas begun. The circle is open but unbroken.
Merry meet and merry part and merry meet again.
Merry meet again.
Thank you
Blessed
all.
be.
Thank you
Blessed
all
be.
on the Zoom so much.
Yeah, and let me put a few
Yeah.
things into the chat. for
Here's your
everybody's
computer is
resources.
right here.
Okay, this is mine.
Yeah, you can use
Okay.
either computer for the chat, okay?
All right.
Rock and roll mid-boss.
Thank you.
What is it, Betsy?
And your name
Uh,
again?
My name's Deborah.
Yeah, just
I'm the crafting and Diego.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. I really appreciated all of you being here, and it was really lovely to be involved with all of you in this. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you
Thank
like,
you, Ivan and the rabbi. Thank you both.
yeah, it's been our pleasure to do this. Here's my email if anybody wants to email me, and my website is ivanrichmond.com, and the book is ivanrichmond.com, Religion of Good. I think let me double check that that's yes, that's the correct link. Oh no, that's not the correct link.
Fake Indian or anything like that, so I just went for.
Let me figure out what the correct link is. I think there's not underscores. I think it's dashes. Let me just get that for you. Yeah, it's dashes.
I
So
didn't have like a message.
so sorry. That's the correct link. All right, forget the first link. The first link has underscores. It's actually dashes.
Nice meeting you.
So,
Yeah, I used to live in the area.
So, yeah,
Run into each other at some
so
point.
there you go. If people are at all interested in the book, you can obviously you can get that. I have a handout, and I'll be happy to email people the handout. I also have I'll be doing other events as well. So the events link on my website will have the events, as well as if you want to sign up for my reading list. I have my my email list. You can sign up for that on the website as well. I think we're gonna hang out a little bit. So people want to sort of stay on. I think we're gonna, if you want to talk, we could probably do that. But otherwise, blessings, everyone.
So part of why I came was because I was interested to get something from.
I thank
from a
you
rabbi, not
all.
only a rabbi, but
I can leave. People want to keep schmoozing. I know it's kind of hard over the Zoom. I can set up a camera so that people can, and the microphone, people will be able to talk. But I notice people are beginning to depart now. So maybe it's best to end the Zoom. Loki, I see Loki and Laura are the two people left. Should I end the Zoom? What do you need?
Yeah, that's okay. I just am basking in the afterglow of Circle
Okay.
and this evolutionary conversation, this eternal dialogue we're having. So thank you. Hail and farewell. And and it was good to see you both. And Peter, I couldn't make it in person, but
You know,
We'll meet again later on in the month,
The
maybe.
next time, when in the month but also I will be coming to California again, and the next time I will make sure that I can drive down toward Monterey
9
and
rabbis.
to see you in
Or, you know, I could meet you.
yeah,
I still have to clear out my place before it's hospitable.
whatever's appropriate. But I will
But,
be.
you know,
Yeah.
this was so nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for
And
the invitation.
Shimmer, it seems, has left, and so on. So on. You
As
take care.
Spock would say, live long and
Live long and
prosper.
prosper.
Live long and prosper.
The Jewish high priest blessing.
Right, right. I always think of that.
Yeah.
Take care. Okay.
Yeah, take care. Hey, thanks for coming, Laura. Nice to see you. So I guess I'll see you around.
You got it.
All right. All right. Cool. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna unless you really wanna stay on and talk, I guess I'll end the Zoom here then. All right. Blessed be.
All right.
Oh, actually, actually, Peter, I guess you need to actually end it. I can leave. You're the host.
But here's another two pieces
The
of
Zoom
advice.
ends now.
If you are
Okay.
capable of, there was someone earlier was talking about the soul, and I think it's very important. If you're capable of,
I mean, I can leave it, but you
feeling
can
your
kill it.
wife's soul,
You need to end it.